Okay. Hello and good evening, everyone. So, before starting this session, any question? Any question you have and you want to discuss? Namaskar, Arif. Good evening, Yogesh. Pen and paper. Thank you, sir, for this session. Okay. This session means I think you are talking about any other session, earlier session. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. Hello, sir. What about grade B pattern change? I was waiting. I was waiting this question. Okay. Sorry, Yogesh. Sorry. Means I was not able to take calls. Means taking only important calls. I will talk to you tomorrow. Sure, I will talk to you tomorrow. Subrit is asking for RBI grade B pattern change. I will discuss this thing. Anything else? Good evening, Jyoti. So, how many you have a issue related to pattern change? Many of the students they was discussing about the pattern change, and see, change is the nature of the exam. It is a basic nature of the exam. If there will be a competitive exam, they must have to change the things. They cannot be remain static, right? Even the most conservative one about to changes, that is UPSC, they always keep change the things, right? Even they do change their pattern and syllabus after 8 to 10 years, they will change it, right? So change is the nature of any competitive exam. Second thing which I want to mention is they are going to make changes, and maybe there will be a separate paper, descriptive paper on central banking, right? It is almost sure, but I don't want to go in further. There will be, yes, there is a change. Okay, there will be a change, but until unless it is not official, it is uh, not required to comment on it. But still, because a lot of students have this issue in their mind, so what message I convey for you is, first thing, let them decide the rule of the game, right? Let them decide the rule of the game. You are a player, I am your coach, right? You are my player and I am your coach. As you are worried for the whatever the changes they are going to made, right? I am also worried, right? I'm also worried, but I'm not worried kind of what will happen, right? What will happen? I am just waiting to make your move official, right? I know they are going to change, but what I am waiting, okay, make it official. So I'm also planning for them. Whatever the changes you are going to make in the rule of the game, I'm also planning accordingly, so that all of you are going to be very confident and effectively you can appear in the exam, right? So what I mean to say is there is no need to worry too much right now, right? There is no need to worry too much right now what changes they are going to make. Let them make it, right? And always remember that those students who are hardworking and they are doing their preparation properly, whatever the changes they are going to make, that is not only for you as a hardworking student, it is going to be changed for everyone, right? So everyone is going to be impacted in the positive or negative manner, right? So it's not like that ki some section of the students or some section of the people are going to be in the greatest advantage position, and some other section of the people they are going to be the completely disadvantaged section. Why I told you, why I'm telling you, because most of the students, they feel that ki UPSC aspirants have clear cut edge in this grade B. RBI grade B, UPSC aspirants have a clear cut edge, right? So this perception is especially very strong among those students who are not preparing for the UPSC exam, right? This is very strong perception among those students who are not preparing for the UPSC exam, and whenever they will meet any aspirant who is also preparing UPSC exam apart from the grade B, they always tell us, yeah, you have a clear cut advantage because you are preparing for the UPSC. For you, it is just a cup of tea, right? But I tell you the truth. The UPSC aspirant, right? The UPSC aspirant also know that ki I do not have any edge, right? But because you have created this perception as a non UPSC aspirant, so he is happily taking it. He is happily taking it, right? Otherwise, there is no as such kind of the edge. Okay, you have to prepare for UPSC, which is a dedicated exam, and you have to be remain focused. If there will be some kind of the diversion, you will fail in the UPSC also, and you will fail in the grade B also, right? And there will be the greater humiliation for you. There will be a greater humiliation for you. So you means UPSC aspirant is always under tremendous pressure. But somebody will say that you have an edge in this exam. They always take it in very positive manner, and they'll not say that no. Right? They give kind of very cheeky kind of the reply. No, yes, we have some certain edges. Nobody have an edge in any exam, right? If that is true, only UPSC aspirant can clear the grade B exam, right? But this is not happening every year. A good number of the students who do not have any UPSC kind of the background, they also clear UPSC preparation background, they also clear this exam, right? So just put that thing aside, right? So there is nothing like an edge. Now what they are going to change, right, and how it is going to impact your preparation, I just want to say is, please remain focused on the preparation. Try to gain the momentum at the time of notification. Try to gain the momentum at the time of notification, right? So if you are already in momentum, right, if you're already in momentum, then it is easier for you to maintain that pace for next 2 to 3 months till the exam. But if you are not studying, just speculating, just murmuring and discussing with others what will be the change and how it is going to impact, let them do it. Nah, just let them do it. Once they will do it, then we will have a discussion. It is a time to focus on the studies, right? Okay, some people are saying that that particular area is having marks right now. Okay, right now it is have a weightage. Maybe it going to be qualifying. Just giving an example. Suppose that quant, they are going to make it qualifying. So tell me one thing. If they are going to make it qualifying only, means they are not going to make it marks. I'm in general, I'm having an in general discussion. Suppose that there is an exam where they are giving the weightage to the quants, right? They are giving the weightage to the quant, but later on they are going to make it what? Later they are going to make it only qualifying, right? They are going to make it only qualifying. Is it going to change something? Nothing, no change. You have to work on the quant, otherwise you will fail in the quant. Classic example I'll give you. This UPSC exam, we talk a lot about UPSC exam, CSAT and GS paper. Now in UPSC, CSAT is qualifying only. CSAT is qualifying only. And you know, many students who take it as a granted because it's qualifying, right? They failed. because they feel that it is qualifying only. Especially last year, this happened in the big manner. Lot of the good students who are good even in the CSAT part, they failed because they have taken granted and they didn't practice and they finally failed. So whether it is weightage, having a weightage, or it is going to be qualifying, it's not going to change the picture very much, right? It is not going to change the picture very much, because in the examination hall, you don't know, in your exam, you don't know what is exactly required to qualify, right? Until unless they are going to mention it properly, ki this is the number of the question which is required for qualify. That's it. Rest of the question you can skip it. So these people are not going to do this thing. Even if they are going to make it qualify, they are not going to mention ki you need to score this amount of marks, right? So ultimately, lot of debate, discussion, do this, do that, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. What is going to help you is try to build the momentum, focus on your preparation, right? Whenever they are going to give notification, this is our part. This is our part. We have to prepare for it. What changes they are going to make, and we are doing this thing. We are making our strategy. I and Ashokji continuously talking on these things, and we are trying to make a strategy. So on the day they are going to make it official, okay. On the day they are going to make it official, we will come up with the strategy for you, and we will try to minimize your burden, right? We are going to do this thing, so you need not to worry about this thing, right? We will give you the strategic plan ki how you have to cope it up, right? What you have to do is, what, when they are going to make an announcement, I am going to say that ki this area need focus at least 1.5 hours on daily basis apart from your regular preparation. Just give an example. Suppose that they have made an announcement, and after announcement, I went for a strategic discussion with you, and I told you, ki, all of you, what you have to do, apart from your regular studies, this area need at least 45 minutes to 1 hour on daily basis. Okay. Now, you have to give the time. But if you are overall giving only 2 to 3 hours at that point of time, so it's going to be very difficult for you to give 1 hour or 45 minutes to that particular thing which I am going to announce at that point of time. So what I'm emphasizing you, try to have a momentum of 3 to 4 hours of output on daily basis, right? So if when they are going to make a change and that change required 1 hour separate focus of your total output, you are able to give it. You are able to give it. Okay, so this is what you have to prepare right now. There is a change, they are going to make certain changes, it is almost sure, but I'm not saying it is changed, because until unless it is not going to official, I do not have this thing to say it कि they have changed, but almost they are going to do it, right? They are going to do it. Fine. So we have to change our strategy, but you have to work. You have to work. So try to work for 4 to 5 hours and gain the output, so that it can be done in the smooth manner. Regarding any change in the paper, whether they are going to introduce a central banking as a separate paper, for example, if they are going to introduce central banking as a separate chapter, or you can say that separate paper, right? So how they are going to do it? They are going to introduce few things which is right now neglected in their syllabus, and those things which are already there in the syllabus, they are going to crave it out from there, and they are going to make it as a separate paper, nothing else, right? They are not going to introduce something like what, which is not aware from the point of view of anyone. It's not like that. They are not going to do this thing, right? So whatever the changes, even suppose that they are going to introduce something extraordinary, right? They are going to do something extraordinary, so that extraordinary is going to be the remain same for all of the people now. It's not going to help only one kind of the people. It is going to be remain some for all of the kind of the people, so no need to worry. Sir, I have an issue about it. Sakshi. Okay. Guide on descriptive answer. Okay. No edge in the RBI grade B, sir. I have appeared in the UPSC interview 2019. Sir, qualifying is generally 30%, which is 9 out of 30, but last year sectional cutoff. Satyuk, this is the same thing I am telling you, right? Even if they are going to tell you that this is 30%, in the examination hall, do you have a time to calculate it? Do you have a time to calculate it? If you are going to calculate it, you are going to lose the exam. So nobody is going to calculate how much I have corrected, right? You do not have a time to recalculate it. Your approach is going to be like that, whatever I am able to correct it, I have to correct it. Your approach is never going to be, your approach will be remain same. Your approach will be remain same. Ki I have a 25 questions, I will try to correct maximum, right? So that there will be no issue. Sectional cutoff, overall cutoff, anywhere you can miss, right? So approach is not going to be changed. Vishal, let them announce. Let them announce what the change they are going to make it. I will do that descriptive part. Yes, Sakshi, what issue you have? But yes, most probably see there is a 99.9. I'm not going to say it is changed, but I am going to say that 99% there is a probability there is a change in the examination pattern, and one more descriptive part means new kind of section can be there. Okay, so in next few days it is going to be the clear. Okay, so Yogesh is saying start the budget session. Okay, I'll start the budget session. Anything else? Anything else apart from this notification and related debate? Anything else you have in your mind which is bothering you? Most probably. I'll not say yes, but I'll say most probably phase 2 is going to be completely descriptive. And one thing I'm going to tell you, okay, this is I'm going to tell you very firmly, right? Whosoever is associated with this platform, crack grade B. Whosoever is associated with this platform and has shown his faith in us. In us, that means in me and this organization, I will make sure that you are going to be in the advantageous position. I will make sure that. That is for sure. I'll do it. And I am telling you this thing very firmly. I will make sure that you will be in the advantageous position. But in return, what I need a hard work from you. Otherwise, nothing can be materialized. So this is the message what I want to convey you. You need not to worry about it. You need not to worry about it. What they are going to change it. You should be focused on your momentum gaining and increase the number of output hours gradually because exam is approaching. This is you have to focus and let things on my shoulder. I'll take care of it. Okay, I'll take care of it. You need not to worry. That's my headache, not your headache. Fine? Okay? Not getting any reply from your side. Okay then. So In the last class, we was discussing about what we are discussing about the budget, and in the budget, we have to start from here. I think in the last class, I have explained this thing. Today, we have to start with agriculture and food processing. What is in this year's budget, right? So before going to these data, few things I just want to let you know about agriculture and agriculture in India. Thank you, Yogesh. Again, I'm telling you, means I am in more anxiety than you. I'm in more anxiety than you. I'll tell you, means in last 24 hours, if I'll calculate in last 24 48 hours. In last 48 hours, I slept only for 5 hours total. I'm not able to sleep. I'm not able to sleep, and this happened with me with this anxiety kind of the thing. I have this problem. Whenever I am in the anxiety, I always tell you, na, ki don't take tension, focus on the studies. But I am the kind of the person who have this problem. I'm not able to do it because I need certainty. So once they are going to out of this notification, only then I am going to. And it's not like that ki I am not doing anything. It's not like that I'm not doing anything. I have 2 3 books which I have ordered from the Amazon. I'm reading those books to work extra so that if requirement will come, I'll increase my output. I'll increase my output. So I'm doing in this manner, right? So just leave it to me. I'll handle. वो शाहरुख खान की मूवी का डायलॉग है ना, मैं हूं ना. So you can take it like that. I'll handle. So now come back to this agriculture part. Agriculture is very important for India, and not only for India, for any country. Agriculture part is very important, especially in the current scenario when the climate is changing, right? Climate is changing. Agriculture become very important for all the country, and especially for country like India, where there is a huge population, and out of that huge population is still dependent on the agriculture. Agriculture is a primary sector of the economy. We can classically divide it in the 3 sector: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Agriculture comes in the primary sector. And regarding agriculture, India have a lot of structural and functional issues, right? And India's agriculture is always on the mercy of climate, right? Most of the part of India's agriculture is always on the mercy of climate also, right? And that is why it always bother to government and RBI also, because if something is going to be wrong in the agriculture section, then the huge population of India is going to suffer in terms of demand and supply of goods and services, and it is also going to impact the inflation. So RBI is also very concerned. So all these things make agriculture sector in India very important, and these structural and functional issues are in India, right? I'll try to share one PDF with you later on, not right now, later on, where I'll identify certain issues, right? In the agriculture, waiting for this notification. Once it will be clear, accordingly, if there will be any change, then I'll also change in that one. If there will be no change, I'll share with you as it is. Just giving an overview of India's agriculture problems and prospects. So that is especially actually for UPSC, but it's also very good. You can also read it. So I'll share with you. But as of right now, what's agriculture is on mercy on the climate change. Yes. So climate change is not only for India. Climate change is for every country. But some countries are going to have a severe impact than other countries, right? So, for example, climate change, especially for island nations, it's going to be very problematic for them. So, at present, around it's a largest sector to generate employment. It's the largest sector to generate the employment in India, whereas lowest share in GDP of India. Which is the largest sector in terms of GDP? Largest sector in terms of GDP means industries, service sector, or not agriculture, whether it is industrial sector or service sector. Highest share in GDP. Services sector. Very good. It's a service sector which provide the highest number of GDP, whereas largest number of employment provided by the agriculture sector. But despite providing the large amount of employment, it is not qualitative employment. It is not a qualitative employment in terms of not providing the good income, right? Lot of people are employed in agriculture sector, that is true, but that employment is just a in the name of employment. They are not having the quality standard life. That means the income is still very low in the agriculture sector. If you will compare the average income provided in three different sectors, you will find that the average income in agri sector is low, and especially very low in the lower tier, not upper tier, lower tier. It's very low. So that's why if India want to remove the poverty, India have to focus on agriculture. So since independence, various governments through various way they are working on this thing, so that if agriculture is going to grow, then definitely a lot of things are going to improve, and especially it is going to improve the living standard of the largest population of India. So in other words, we can say that agriculture is a key for inclusive growth. Agriculture sector is a key. Why? Because the most population which is suffering from they do not have an access of proper food, living standard, they are directly or indirectly involved in the agriculture sector, right? So if there is a good growth in the agriculture sector, then definitely it is going to help overall sector. Services only tertiary. Okay, services is only tertiary, fine. So that is why agriculture sector is very important. Fine. So these are the few things regarding agriculture sector. Now I'm going to share one data related thing of this year's budget, which I have prepared. You can see here for agriculture sector, this budget is actually a blueprint of what? Amrit Kal, right? And in Amrit Kal, we have a vision of what? Inclusive development. And I just told you for inclusive development, which sector? Agriculture sector is going to play a very important role, right? So this is why government must have to focus on agriculture, and you can see that in this budget, high value agriculture also deficit commodities. I'll explain what is the high value agriculture and deficit agriculture commodities. But first focus on this data. Government expenses under the agriculture, animal husbandry, dairy, fisheries sector have pegged to 1.29 lakh crore, which is 5% above to 1.22 lakh crores. So for agriculture, 1.2 lakh crore, overall expenditure is 39.45 lakh crores, right? So if you will compare 39.4 lakh crores, this is the total expenditure, and this is for overall agriculture. So how much percentage India is spending of its GDP? So this can be considered as our overall expenditure in the budget. So if somebody is going to ask ki what percentage is going to the agriculture, can you tell me the percentage? Total figure is 39.45 and agriculture is getting 1.2 lakh 29. So what is the percentage? Tell me quickly. My maths is very weak. No answer at yet. कितना टाइम लगता है? Tell me the percentage. Total budget expenditure is 39.45 and agriculture is going to get 1.29 lakh crores. How much percentage of total expenditure? 20%? How it can be 20%? 30%? 39%? This data is a little bit realistic. 3.25%. 3.25%. 3%, approx 3%. Okay. Good. 3%. So somewhere around 3% India is going to spend. So now, if they are going to ask the question, why I have asked you, now the reason is very simple. Remembering this data is easy, or remembering this data is easy. 2.3 lakh, 9 lakh crore, or 3% of total expenditure, which is easy. Which data is easy? This data is easy to remember. So what you have to keep in your mind, this is actual expenditure of an year, right? This is an actual expenditure of an year and agriculture is going to be 3%. If you have this data in your mind and they have asked you what is the budget estimate for agriculture sector in 2022-2023. So suppose that question they are going to ask, government announced expenditure in agriculture sector. Okay. Now suppose that they have given you some data here. They have given you data here, like they have given you data 2 lakh crores. Second data they have given 3 lakh crores. Third data they have given 4 lakh crores. And fifth data they have given 1 lakh crores. Right? They have given you this data. Now you are thinking how I can remember all the data. How I can remember all the data. But if you know that there is an expenditure, total expenditure, suppose that government has announced the total expenditure will be of how much? Total expenditure will be around 40 lakh crores. Even if you do not remember the exact data, that 39.45, you do not remember this exact data, but you remember somewhere around 40 lakh crores, right? Somewhere around 40 lakh crores is a total expenditure, and you remember that 3% is for agri. So if you have this data and you have this figure in your mind, then automatically you are going to come with this kind of answer, 3 lakh crores, right? So this is what I am telling you, कि you need not to try to keep every data in your mind. Just have a smart work Total expenditure 39.45 lakh crores. And rest of the expenditure you should try to keep in the terms of percentage. 3%, somewhere it is around 11%, right? So suppose that somewhere around it is 10%. So automatically you can get the approximate data, it will be around 4 lakh crores. If you remember the percentage point, it is easier for you to calculate. Why? Because you know how much total is going to spend. So it is easier for you to calculate it from there and come with the quantifying number. Are you getting my point? Why I'm emphasizing on this? The reason is because sometimes they will ask in this manner and student get confused ki how I can remember this data. So you have to do the smart work. Just have a percentage in your mind ki what percentage is allocated for agriculture sector, what percentage is allocated for defense sector, what percentage is allocated for health sector. So if you remember this percentage point, or you can make a table ki this is the percentage point, then automatically you can retrieve the data in approximate lump sum number. Okay, so this is the way how to smartly keep the data in the mind. Fine. So total 39.45, and this year 1.29 lakh crores they have allocated to the agriculture sector. And here they have mentioned what? Government subsidy. The government subsidy on the account of food, fertilizer and fuel, as well as allocation for the pharma sector, together 4.47 lakh crores, continued 11% of the year's expenditure of the budget. So here this 11% is of what? Here this 11% they are talking about subsidy. What is subsidy? What is subsidy? Can anyone define what is subsidy? I need a definition. Given exceptions, rebate on the purchase of something. Subsidy is a part of expenditure of government, right? Number one, subsidy is a part of expenses of the government. So when government bear that expense, when government bear that expense which is for public, but government is going to bear some expense of that thing, we will call it as a subsidy. Public have to purchase certain goods, and the cost of that purchase, cost of that good, if it is going to be bear by the government, then that amount is known as subsidy. What is subsidy? Subsidy is an amount bear by the government for good which is going to be purchased by the public in general. So suppose that government is giving the fuel subsidy. If government is giving the fuel subsidy, it means what? The fuel price, whatever the fuel price you are going to have it in the market, that fuel price is not actual price, because already government has absorbed some price. So earlier in India, government was giving the fuel subsidy, but gradually government has ended the fuel subsidy. Right now it is purely market basis, and you have to pay the price what is the market price. So subsidy never reflect the market price, because the price which is in the market is, if it is with the subsidy, that means government already has taken some burden of that price, right? So here they have mentioned government subsidy, food, fertilizer and fuel. They have mentioned the fuel here, but they have mentioned the fuel in terms of other reason. I'll explain. Food, fertilizer and fuel, as well as allocation for the pharma sector, including dairy and fisheries, get 4.47 lakh crores. So government has given the fuel subsidy, means government has reduce the subsidy in terms of what? Finish the subsidy in terms of petrol and diesel, but still, like LPG gas, they are still providing some subsidies, right? Some subsidies they are being provided. So in that context, they have mentioned it. And what I told you, ki government has ended the fuel subsidy, I was telling you in terms of petrol and diesel, but for gas, still government providing certain subsidies. Okay, there are some good answers. Concession given to the purchase of raw material. You cannot limit yourself only in the raw material. Sometimes on the finished goods also. For agriculture and industry, yes, for agriculture and industry, that is fine. The part which government pay to rebate on the purchase of any item, okay. Amount paid by the government to the manufacturer of citizens to keep price. Yes, yes, that is little bit near definition. Amount paid by the government to the manufacturer of that particular thing which is going to be sold to the public in order to compensate the price. So, what amount of subsidy government is going to give this year? Agriculture sector 3% expenditure, whereas subsidy comprise of 11%. Subsidy comprise of 11%, and agriculture spending is comprised of how much? Agriculture is comprised of 3%. Right? Is it clear? Now, fertilizers. Subsidy, you understood what is the subsidy. However, there is a subsidy related one issue. I think somebody have asked this question in the Telegram group also. Subsidy and WTO. So I have seen your question. I think it was Ashish or someone else who have asked this question. Subsidy and WTO related issue. So it is not possible to answer your question at that point of time because it need a detailed discussion, right? And it is not only India is providing the subsidy to their farmers. Even all Western countries, they also give heavy subsidy, huge subsidy to their farmers, right? But they have certain issues, and that is why it is one of the most contested issue in the WTO, right? So it need a proper discussion rather than just giving answer on that question, right? So we will have this topic in our curriculum. So I will discuss that topic whenever it will come. So subsidy issue will definitely means one part of your syllabus is when we have to discuss the international economy, right? Our business related things and trade and commerce. So this issue will come, subsidy and WTO, and it need a proper discussion. So I will discuss, but just keep this thing in your mind. Ki government of India, you can see that 11%, right? More than 10% of your total expenditure is going on what? Subsidies. So subsidies are very important. Some subsidies government feel that it is unnecessary. For example, subsidies given by the government on petrol and diesel, government feel that it is not required, right? So certain subsidies have to be removed, but certain subsidies are required to give to the farmer, and that's why it is being provided. Yes, it is current year's budget discussion. Now moving towards fertilizer. Why I have included the fertilizer overall, actually it is not very important for your exam, but one thing I just want to mention it here is considering the practice of raising the subsidy during the revised estimate, right? It cannot be concluded that the government has cut this allocation in the view of the call of the Prime Minister, also the Finance Minister in his budget speech, that chemical free natural farming will be promoted throughout the country. The next focus may be on fertilizer after abolishing fuel subsidy. What is the context? I'll tell you. As I told you, subsidy is a big challenge for the government, right? Subsidy is always big challenge for the government. And fuel and fertilizers. Fuel, fertilizers, and food. These are the three main constituent of the subsidy. Food, fuel, and fertilizers. right? They are the three main constituent of the subsidy given by the government, right? Given by the government. So gradually government has abolished the fuel subsidy. It is left only in certain areas in very nominal number. Large subsidy on the fuel is already abolished. Now government is eyeing to minimize the subsidy, especially in the fertilizer area, right? But every government, when they are in the government, they understand why subsidy have to be removed or reduced so that that money can be spent on other productive things, right? And whatever the subsidy we are going to give, that subsidy should go to only poor farmers, not rich farmers. Rich farmers can afford it, right? That should go to the poor farmer. But India do not have any kind of such kind of the mechanism to identify it properly, right? And even government is not willing to identify it properly, because government know that once we will start this practice, there will be the huge rumors among the population, and maybe a huge population can turn against us, right? So that is why government do not want to initiate this practice. Third reason is, under the constitution, agriculture is a part of state subject, not of the union, right? So agriculture come under the state subject, it is not a central subject. Fine. So these are some impediments why government is not able to rationalize this entire sector. But because it is the government of India who have a responsibility to provide the subsidy, so government want to decrease it, right? But as I told you, there are a lot of constraints for the government to decrease the subsidy, right? So, what government has started a practice, initially they will announce low amount. When the budget will be given, that budget estimate, that figure is little bit low. But when the pressure will be built on the government, then under the revised estimate, they will increase the outlay. So what government is doing right now, just trying to check the public mood. How they are going to check the public mood? Initial amount is low. Whatever the fertilizer subsidy they are going to provide, deliberately they will mention the low number. And they wait for the moment when public is going to agitate. If public is going to agitate in the larger manner, they will immediately increase the outlay for the fertilizer subsidy in the revised estimate. And if there is no such kind of huge protest, they will try to go with that only. So this is the passive way to decrease the subsidy, which various governments in India since last 10 to 15 years have opted, right? So another term to explain this is known as salami slicing. In international relations, we use this term salami slicing. What is salami slicing? You understand what is salami? Especially non-vegetarian people understand what is salami. So it is like in this shape, and it will be sliced. It will be sliced through the knife, one piece, then another piece, right? So this is chicken salami, and it will be sliced in this way, right? So we called it as slicing. We are slicing it. We are cutting in this small circle pieces. So this is slicing, and when we slice this salami, we called it as a salami slicing. And how it is used in international relations, and how government of India is trying to use the salami slicing technique in the fertilizer subsidy, I'll explain you. For example, there is a border, and this is the disputed area. It is a border, and this is the disputed area. So China's forces are here and Indian forces are here. This is the default border, and this is no man's land. No man's land means in this area nobody will come. This is the line, and this is the no man's land, the entire area. This is the no man's land, right? Means there is a kind of commitment between these two countries that nobody will try to build their infrastructure or patrolling in this area, right? Then what China did, China said that ki no, this boundary is actually not this boundary, it is the actual boundary of no man's land. Later on, they will say that ki no, this is the line for exact no man's land. So gradually, you are grabbing the land. Gradually, not in one shot. You are not going to do this thing. Ki the entire area I'm going to claim. What I am going to do gradually, I'll grab the land. I'll grab the land. So this is known as salami slicing technique when it is being used. Classic case, India-China border dispute. Same thing used by the government when they try to reduce the subsidies. They will gradually, slowly, they will try to decrease the fertilizer or whatever the subsidies they are giving. So rather than going in wholesale decrease in the subsidies, they will try to do it gradually. Fine. So in this way they use this tactic, and that's why again this year they have mentioned only some amount for fertilizer sector. But every year what they will do, they are increasing, but the rate of increase is low. So got what is salami slicing? Salami slicing is a method when I know I can't do it one go. I can't do that thing in one go. I'll try to do that thing gradually, step by step, step by step. 9th February, 10th February, 11th February, 12th, 13th, then finally, right? So it's not like that. It is more gradual, means it will happen on the long intervals, not 9 to 14. It will happen in the long intervals. Fine. Spam check is saying that frozen chicken. No. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Now, just move towards the food subsidy may go up. Meanwhile, with the electoral dividend from the free food grains under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, right? The food subsidy allocation has been pegged to 2.7 lakh crores. So what you have to remember in your mind, not this figure, you have to go back to this scheme. What is this scheme? And under this scheme, what government of India is doing, right? So that scheme may be static, but recently outlay is being increased, right? Outlay is increased. The current year allocation is increased to 2.6 lakh crores in the revised estimate. Acha. One thing. Here, a lot of times they are using this thing. They are using in this data which I am discussing with you. This data which is I am discussing with you. I just want to give one clarity because maybe some people will get confused. There is financial year 2021-22, right? And 22-23. So budget estimate for this year was given on 1st Feb 2021, right? And for this budget estimate, this financial year, budget estimate was given on 1st Feb 2022, right? So when government is presenting the budget estimates for this financial year, government is also telling revised estimate of financial year 21-22. So here what is happening, suppose that for expenditure A, government is mentioning that we are going to spend 1.25 lakh crores. Government is mentioning we are going to spend 1.25 lakh crores for A, right? for financial year 2022-23. So this is budget estimate, but at the same time government is also saying the revised estimate for 2021 is 1.3 lakh crores. What it means that? It means that for A, in the budget, government has allocated 1 lakh crores, but gradually it is increased to 1 lakh 30 lakh crores. Whereas this year, we in the budget estimate, we are presenting 1.25 lakh crore. That means there is a possibility later in that year, like what government is doing, when they have presented the budget on 1st of February 2021 for financial year 2021-22, they announced that we are going to spend 1 lakh crores for A, right? But gradually they have increased it to 1 lakh 30 lakh crores, 1.3 lakh crores. And here for this financial year, which is going to start from 1st April 2022-2023, they are saying that we are going to spend how much? 1.25 lakh crore. But if you will see this data, they announced it for financial year 2021-22 1 lakh crore, but they have increased it to further 1 lakh 30,000 crores. So this year also there is a probability. Initially they are announcing 1.25 lakh crore, but maybe they are going to increase it to further maybe 1.50 lakh crores. Okay, have you got this point? Budget estimate and revised estimate. Got this point? Okay. So now the livestock and fisheries. Livestock and fisheries, it's not very important from your point of means your for your examination. But government always keep increasing the outlay for fisheries sector and livestock sector, and this year also they have increased the setup. Simultaneously, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Association continue to upward trends. Right. So they have increased the outlay for animal husbandry, but this data is not so important. Right. So this is why there is no need to focus on it. Fine, whatever is important, I have already highlighted this sector. Now, one concept you must know: what is deficit crop? Deficit crop. In India, deficit crop is like edible oils. So there is always a deficit, and because of that deficit, we have to import that edible oil. Right? We have to import that edible oil from other countries. So generally, when we say deficit crop, what it means that those crops we are doing the cultivation, we are having those crops under our agriculture plan, but their availability is not, their production in our country is not sufficient. So in order to fulfill that requirement, we have to take it from other countries, right? So those crops come under the category of deficit, and you can see that India has been importing annually 70,000 crore worth edible oil. 70,000 crore worth edible oil, that means around $10 billion. $10 billion every year we are spending on what? Edible oil imports, right? So government has started edible oil related mission. I will share that data with you. Edible oil related mission, what government of India has started, and government of India especially pushing the palm oil, right? The palm oil, which is very important, and India is the largest importer of palm oil. Fine. So government has taken the initiative in that area, but government want ki this sector should be focused so that this deficit crop concept will reduce in India. Okay. Another thing which government has announced, Kisan drone, right? So what is Kisan drone? Yes, National Mission on Edible Oil Initiative. I'll share the data with you. So Kisan drone is what? For the proper monitoring of agriculture and each and everything related to this, we will started using the drones for it. In India, drones, see the irony in the country. For agriculture, we are going to start that using of the drone right now. But use of the drone in marriage and kind of the ceremony is being in practice since last 5 to 6 years. Is it in use since last 6 to 7 years? As far as I remember, I think it is used in, yes, 6 to 7 years back. They started using these drones for live coverage of wedding ceremony in India. But for agriculture sector, now government is going to use this drone right now. Right. So this is the irony of the country. People think more for the entertainment rather than for utilization. Right. So it is an irony of this country. It's, I mean, I, you, everyone is part of it. And this thing happen in India. You can't stop it, right? But this is the fact. So government has announced the Kisan drone, right? We are going to use this drone. How it is going to be used? What kind of scheme? Definitely in this financial year, government is going to launch some schemes related to Kisan drone, right? But they have made this announcement regarding the drones. See, drones are how the drones are useful. They are very useful device. Have you seen that? How they are useful in the wedding ceremony, kind of the thing. How useful they are, right? There is no use but giving a different perspective of particular area, right? What is happening there? Either you have to go and see what is happening, or you just see through the help of drone. So it is going to reduce the time taken to analyze the situation. Right. So suppose that you are in the wedding ceremony and you just want to know that what is happening on the main stage. Right. So either you can go there and some family member will ask you to come and they are start asking you, "Ki right now what you are doing in these days? What is your career opportunities or all?" You know that ki dur wali chachi is there. She is definitely going to ask this question to me. So you want to avoid her. But at the same time you also want to know what is happening there. So what you can do, you can just use the drone view which is live on the big screen, so you can immediately get the idea. Same thing, the drone is going to help in the agriculture field. Rather than going and monitor and deploy a particular person for that purpose, you can just simply deploy the drone and get the real time situation. So this is the way how it is going to help you. Now another term they have used here is spin-off financing. Spin-off financing in the agriculture sector. Spin-off financing, basically spin-off financing is what? Spin-off financing is, I have a company A, right? And I'm going to establish another company, and for that I need finance, right? So because of good reputation of A, I'm easily going to get financing for this one. So government is trying to have a startup kind of the movement. What we are able to see right now in the tertiary sector, means technology driven sector, we are able to see the mushrooming growth of startups, but we are not able to see the growth in what, able to see the growth in the agriculture sector, the growth of startups, like kind of the thing. So what government is trying, government is saying ki we will try to put this spin-off effect in the agriculture and rural entrepreneurship. What it means, that means if you have already a startup and you are going to make another startup in the agriculture sector, government will try to support you in the various ways. So it is going to help in two manner. First, the already startup is there, so they know how to do the business of the startup. Second thing, with their expertise, we can effectively utilize the agriculture sector, which is also an untapped sector in India. Right. So in this way, the spin-off effect they are going to use. One more thing they have announced here is this scheme, Credit Guaranteed Trust Fund for Micro Small Enterprises, you have to go the details of this scheme, right? If you are not able to go, I will provide, but first I'll request you, you should go. And one more thing, they I think most of the people will remember, but still, Kane Betwa interlinking project, it is going to be asked, it is going to be definitely asked in your exam, what is Kane Betwa link. So sometimes they will ask very unusual question, right? So Kane river flow in which state, Betwa river, right, their area. So such kind of information, try to collect it. If you are not able to do it, let me know, I'll do it for you. Okay, so Kane Betwa link is one of the priority for this government. They want to interlink. Generally, river interlinking is a very uh, typical as well as very kind of problematic thing, because generally these rivers are interstate river, not only just in one state. So most of the time, two states are fighting each other. They are not interested because every state want more share for them, right? More share for them. So it's always a kind of conflictual issue between the two states, right? Whether it is Kaveri river or many water disputes in India are there, right? So agreeing by two states of UP and MP, they agreed on this interlinking project, and it is going to be financed by government of India, right? So Kane Betwa interlinking, it's showing how states can cooperate rather than fight and go for interlinking project. At least till then, when the both state have same government, same government. If in the future other party government will come, maybe some issue will be there. But as of right now, government is committed to go for interlinking of the river, right? So for agriculture, that is sufficient. In the next class, I will wind up this discussion. I will discuss with industries, and I'll discuss one more sector, means tax distribution. Then rest of the thing I'm not going to discuss. Why? Because I'll let you know the data and figure when I will take that particular part of the economy. So along with that, I will give you this data. Fine. So for today, I'm winding up this session. Tomorrow, I will discuss the rest of the part, and I will wind up this budget discussion. Okay. Thank you.